even been recording this. All right. So if you're interested in going into our Google Classroom, use the code that you're seeing on the screen. And Lucy or Lovett, anyone that will be gracious enough to type this code for me on the chat, I'll really appreciate that. The code is HRWYIHN. To go into our Google Classroom. Now, once you go into Google Classroom, you're going to see what looks like this. Either as a student, of course, you don't see the grades, but as a teacher, you get to see all of it. This is what we call our stream. This is where it's like your message board. You post messages to students. You can send reminders. You can do your announcement right here. This is your message board for your students, okay? Of course, you can always change the banner because you can always change what the photo looks like. And since this is a WAAW Foundation folder, of course, we have a WAAW Foundation banner right here. Then we go to the classwork. Classwork is where you create assignments or push out resources to your students. So there's on this create sign, you see you have different options. Okay, you can give them an assignment. Again, please remember to mute yourselves. We have a lot of, I know people keep telling me to go mute as the host, but it has been a little bit of a challenge. Hopefully this should work right now. Thank you all. Okay, so under create, you do have various options you can use to push out work to your students. You can either give them an assignment, you can create a quiz assignment for them, you can ask them just a simple question, you can push out materials, and you can always reuse your post, okay? And then you can make your assignments as topics. What that does for you is that it creates what I call folders, all right? So this was a discussion question that was created in our first training, and this is what it looked like. In that discussion question, it tells you that 9 people have answered this question and 52 people were assigned, but only 9 people have turned in that question. It also, of course, allows you to see what your students are doing and allows you to be able to talk to your students. Now, one of the things I like about pushing work out to students in your LMS, and most LMS have this feature, is that you're able to provide direct feedback to the student. So this student responded, and this was the reply that I sent, that you give to the student. And this can be done in a very professional manner, and it's only the student that gets that response. It doesn't go to all the students, and all the students do not see it. So this is an example of the response that I gave to this teacher after she responded to this question. All right. So as you can see that there is a grading point system here. You can either choose to grade it or leave it ungraded. Give me a second. Let me go back to this. So when we go to classwork, let me show you an example of how to create an assignment. So you click on assignment, and this is what pulls up as a student. Fellow educators, please mute yourselves. Please mute yourselves. All right, so you can title your assignment, maybe is probability. I'm a math teacher, so I'm using probability. Watch the video and answer. Fellow educators, please mute yourselves. All right, and answer the questions. This will be your instructions, and then it gives you the opportunity to add whatever you want. You can add a YouTube video if you're sharing a video with them for them to watch, and then you can always share a file. You can share a link, which means you can send them a Google Slides or a Google document or any link that you want to share with them. You can always post it here. Once that has happened, if you don't want all your students to have it, you can select the students that you want. You can uncheck this button, and then select the students that you want, or check this button to make sure all your students are selected. If you want it graded, then you leave the point, or you decide how many grades that they can. This is actually, you can change that if you want. You input your due date and time right here. You select a topic so that it creates, it goes into the folder. If you want to put it under discussion, if you have a rubric, you add it. Once all this is done, then you click on create, and boom, your, excuse me, you click on assign, and all of this is, and it's right there. As you can see, it's under the discussion questions right there, right here. Now, the beauty of this is whatever you want your students to see first, you can always come here and move it up. And they get to see this first. If this is what you want them to see first, they get to see it first. Now, you can always schedule your assignments, of course, as
please,
well.
I'm sorry, the code again for the Google Classroom, please.
Sure. If someone hasn't put it in the chat, please, can someone help me? Lucy or Lovett, this is the code. If you can put it in the chat. I see there's a lot of information on the chat. Oh. Just give me a second, guys. I've been alerted to something. I need to fix it. Give me a second, please. Okay. Hopefully this will fix some of the issues that we're currently having. All right, so this is the code right now to join our Google Classroom. I'm going to be turning it, taking this off and going back to classwork. When you create an assignment, you have the option of actually scheduling it so that it pushes out to the students when you want it to. So you don't have to schedule it at that particular time. So for your Google Classroom, you do have a Google Calendar, and you always also have a Google Class Drive. So anything that you post, or anything your students post, will go to this Google Class folder, and is available to all the students in your class. So here, you will have a teacher. You can add co-teachers to your Google Classroom. So I can invite a teacher to my Google Classroom, and the person becomes my co-teacher. And these are the list of your students. Now, for the students, you can actually also email the students, or invite their guardian, the students' parents to be part of the Google Classroom. But there are restrictions. The parents are not able to come into the classroom because of privacy reasons, but at least they're able to see what their child is currently doing in your classroom. All right. Now, if anyone joins your class and you want to delete the person, you can always click on the person's link, and you can either email the person, remove the person, or mute the person. These are all the options that you have to be able to control what is going on in your LMS. As a teacher, as students do not see this grades portion, but they do see everything else. As a teacher, this is where you can see all the grades that you have assigned to your students. I mean, right now I haven't assigned any grades, so you're not seeing anything, but it tells me who I haven't graded because they've turned in their work, but they haven't, and I haven't graded it, and it tells me whose work is missing. All right, so these are some of the functions that you can have in your Google Classroom. You do have your settings right here, where you can change any of this information if you so desire. The class code is here. Your stream, you can decide who can post and who cannot post right here. And then you can also show deleted items if you want. The grading, your grading policy, so to speak, can also be changed. Your settings for your grading can also be changed right here. This is under your settings in, excuse me. And once you're done, Give me a second. Class description. Once you're done, you can save it and you're good. All right, so this is it for our Google Classroom right now. I'm going back to the Nearport presentation and taking you all to Zoom. This is Zoom. One of the things about Zoom that you want to get the most of is to make sure that once you log in to Zoom, make sure you go to your settings, because your settings is the most important part of your Zoom experience. So when you go to Zoom, of course, the first thing it tells you is to create an account or to log in. Once you log in your Zoom web browser, you get to see this. And then you can click on, well, you go to your profile first. I think this is what your dashboard will look like. And this is what our dashboard is, because I'm using our WAAW Foundation account. But what you really want to get the most out of it is, or the way to get the most out of your Zoom is to go to your settings. Give me a second, because my internet sometimes drags a little bit because I have too many windows open, plus the Zoom. Now, when you go to your settings, this is where you can, this is where you can change or do certain things that you need to do for your Zoom class. If you're using it as a class, you always want your students to be able to come in through the telephone or computer audio. If you notice, when you all join, most of you did not join with your video, but you do had the right to turn it back on. I didn't want anyone to join before me, so this was turned off. You can use your personal meeting ID, or you can generate meeting IDs every time. So just remember that anything you want on needs to be in blue, and anything you want off needs to remain grayed out. So these are all the things that you need to come into Zoom and come and try it out and check it out and see what it is that you want. When we first started, when the shutdown started at my school, one of the things we did was we gathered ourselves and tried different types of things to see what worked and what we liked and what we didn't like and things like that. So that's what we did. There is one feature which I'm not going to use in this training though, but I have used it a lot for teacher training for my school. It is what we call the breakout room. If the breakout room is not on, you're not going to see it on your Zoom app or your Zoom app options. Your breakout room is on. Now, what that means is you can put different people in different rooms to be able to collaborate. This is probably a little bit not. I don't think our students are ready for this yet, unless you have a co-teacher. So like I said, the most important part of to get the most out of your Zoom is to make sure you look at your settings and see what you like and what you don't like. These are a few of the tips that you're going to need as teachers to get the best out of Zoom for your students. So I will probably suggest to use the waiting room feature, because for privacy reasons, it determines who you get to determine who gets to come into your room. Also consider using a password and turning off the private chat, because we've experienced students actually having going on during your teaching without you knowing what is going on. To turn off your screen sharing, because sometimes while you're teaching, you see students scrolling on the screen. This happened to me actually, the first public training we did. Of course, definitely do not post your link publicly. You don't want that. And if possible, always if you can have a co-host. If that is possible, it's a great idea to do. Lock your meeting once it has all of your students. And of course, there are more settings to explore. Go to your settings option and explore it. Use Zoom for check-ins, games. People have used Zoom for so many things other than, of course, just direct teaching. It does say not to use it for direct teaching, but I'm going to disagree with that, because we have been using it for direct teaching. But you can also use it for check-in. You can play games with your students. Some of us have used Kahoot or Quizlet and played some educational games with our students. It's also good for the first 1 or 2 weeks. Some of us just, got into Zoom and we just checked on with the students. How are you doing? what is going on, how are you feeling, and those type of things. Then have some practice Zooms with your friends and co-workers and try out the features so that you see what you like and what you don't like. All right, so next up, if you have any questions, you can always put it on the chat, and I believe my team are on the chat and they are helping us out. I'm also checking the chat periodically. Is Nearpod a part of Google Classroom or is it a standalone? Nearpod is definitely a standalone. It is not part of Google Classroom. And none of these resources are intertwined. They're all standalone, but they can all be used interchangeably, like I'm currently using it. So this is Flipgrid. If you have the opportunity, if you can, go to flipgrid.com. I did create a grid for us, because when you go to Flipgrid, you're asked to either join with a code or log in. To join with a code, please, you can use WAAW 0430, and I'm going to be putting that in a chat. When you go to Flipgrid, give me a second, flipgrid.com, and it asks for a code. Your code will be WAAW 0430. That is on the chat, and it will take you to my grid. That's what they like to call it. So I see a grid as like a class. Your grid can be a class. If you have 5 classes, you can have 5 grids, and your grids can be anything you want it to be, really. So this is the grid that I created for this particular training. So I'm going to click on this grid, and in your grid, you can have several topics. So there is always a default topic by Flipgrid, saying just like a practice, just for practice. So saying hello to Flipgrid, you can go there and answer the questions if you want, and play with it if you want to. But I did create this topic right here. I had to create a video. This is always a nice touch. And I asked the question, using audio or video, share with us your challenges on remote learning during this pandemic. So your question is, okay, so what is Flipgrid all about, and how am I going to use it in my class? Your topic can be anything you want. If you're a science teacher, your topic can be a science teacher. The beauty of the 21st century students, who are the people that we're currently training or teaching, is that they have access to internet, they have access to computers, to their phone, and some of them are shy, but they don't mind talking when they feel when it's less threatening. So Flipgrid kind of gives them that less threatening environment where they can answer your question verbally. They can choose not to show themselves and just do an audio. They can choose the very creative or very expressive ones. Can decide they want to use video, and Flipgrid kind of gives you so many things. So this is what that looks like. Now let me go back so I can show you how to create a topic. So it says add new topic. I can add any topic that I want. I keep going back to probability. I don't know why, but no, let me go to volume of a cylinder. Volume of a cylinder, maybe. Again, I'm a math teacher, so I'm always going to use math examples. Your prompt could be, watch the video and explain to me how to solve the volume of a cylinder. So that's your question, and then you can insert anything you want. You can go to YouTube, find a video on finding volume of a cylinder and insert it there for them to watch. You can attach a Kahoot game to it. There are so many. See how Nearpod is right here, where you can also attach that. So if you've created your Nearpod, you can also put it in here. They can watch that video. Once they have watched that video, they can now give you their own response, of course. So once you're done, any of this is actually optional, depending on what you want to do. There is also Adobe Spark right here, which some of these tools will be coming up in upcoming training. So stay tuned about that. So you can just, this is all optional, right? Once you've done all of this, you can also decide to turn this on. If you turn this on, that means that you will, before another student can watch another student's work, that you've kind of viewed it, make sure it's appropriate and the content is appropriate for your class before it goes live on your grade. If you don't leave that, if you leave this off, there are chances that, our kids, sometimes they just do silly things and they want to post it. And then, everyone sees it and they get a laugh and things like that. So to avoid that, you want to turn this on. And then you click on create your topic and boom, you have your topic. Now, once you've done this, you can share it on Microsoft Teams if that is what you're using. You can share it on your Google Classroom, and you can also share it on Remind if you're using that. And that's it. And that is your grade. And as they are responding, you see the response actually filling up this place. Okay, so it tells anyone so a student can come in here and record a response. They have the option when they're done not to actually show their video and things like that. All right, so I think we're good with Flipgrid. If you ever got into Flipgrid and you want to drop a message or so on my in the topic, please go ahead and do so. It will be great to hear from you. I still have 0 videos. So it will be nice for you to play around with this, because now you have access to it, and play around with it and see what it feels like to be a student. All right, so I'm going back to Nearport. And I don't know if you all noticed, but in Nearport, all those links were all there on Nearport where you could have clicked on it and taken you directly there. This is another, another great feature of Nearport. All right, so in front of you, you have what we call a poll. Another feature of Nearport. And this poll is asking you which of the following best describes your familiarity with Nearport. Please answer the questions if you can, so that people can see what it looks like when it's populating. Which of the following best describes your familiarity with Nearport? I'll give you all a few seconds. Those of you, I have about 24 people on my Nearport. So if you're on the Nearport, please answer the question so that everyone can see what the responses look like. And if you notice, teachers, as students are responding, you get a pie chart right here, giving you an idea. No answer is this gray portion, because the majority of my students haven't responded yet. People say Nearport, the green, people are saying Nearport is brand new to them. That is the green portion right here. And this is a small portion of people who say they've heard of Nearport. And then the options are right here. And then I have 0 response of I've used Nearport before. So because there's 0 response, it's not showing up on the pie, on the graph right here. And as I scroll down, you can see the dots begin to appear, and it kind of creates a scatter plot. So those math geeks out here, this is kind of, this is a little bit interesting for us, because we get to see something like this being generated. This is a tool on Nearport that you can use. I think our next training will show you how to actually use Nearport. By now, we've seen Google Classroom, we've seen Zoom, and we've gone through Flipgrid. And now we're going to spend more time on Nearport, which I believe is the meat of this training. So you can see as people are responding, you see all the dots showing up. And then the chat right here is also changing. You have the option to share this into your class so that they can see it, how it looks from your end. And there is an image right here for reference material if you need it. That's something that you can also do when you're creating this particular poll for your students. All right, thank you very much for those of you that have responded. I will be moving on right now. Again, you can always hide students' names for privacy, because sometimes students don't like their names shown on the screen. So this is an option for you to hide students' names. So those shy students who don't want to be seen or be shown out are willing to actually respond. All right, so moving along. Again, if you have any questions, I'll be checking Nearpod periodically. Now we're going to do what is called Time to Climb. It's a type of quiz, but a game-like quiz in Nearpod. I have the option to randomize the answers, but I'm not. And I can choose any theme that I want, and then I click on continue. Those of you that are in on Nearpod, please try and connect to play. And when I see at least 3 people, I'm going to start the game. So while I'm waiting for that, let me go to the chat to see what the question is. You lock your class in Zoom by clicking participants at the bottom of, okay, thank you. Oh, the rubric setting in Google Classroom. I'll go back to that later on. Thank you for asking. How do you lock your class in Zoom? Thank you for the person that responded. I appreciate that. Please help log in with my Gmail. Enable it. Okay. All right. I will be checking. I think I have 4 people, so I'm going to start the game. All right. People are moving on. As you can see, there's a little timer right here. Okay. Actually gives them about 30 seconds to answer the question. And you can also see that the students' names are hidden right here. Okie dokie. It tells you the number of questions, of course, that are in the quiz. If you're still trying to get into Nearpod, you're going to join .nearpod.com and use this code right here. It'll be nice if someone can please type that code on the chat forum for me, please, on the chat. All right, so at the end of the game, it shows you your leaderboard. And whoever it is, of course, is your winner. And if you want, you can always reward the person. All right, so I just wanted to share with you guys one of the features of Nearpod and how you can use it in the class. So for those of you that didn't know, the answer to all the questions are all true. And now we're about to learn about Nearpod. All right, so what is Nearpod really? You should be getting a link of slides. That's a Google Slides link that should take you to this overview that we're about to go through. But again, on your Nearpod, if you're in Nearpod, you can always click on the notes button so that you can get access to all the resources that has been shared in this Nearpod. It is a presentation tool that makes teaching and learning more interactive. And even though it's also fun, people think you can only use it with students. No, I use this Nearpod for my training with my teachers. Part of my job as a master teacher is to train, also provide professional development to teachers. And I use this as well. It enables 100% student participation. And of course, you can monitor that as well with making sure that if you have 20 students in class, that means you must have 20 people logged in. Otherwise, someone is missing. Oops, excuse me. I'm sorry. Excuse me. I need to go back. Press too fast. All right. We're about to watch a video, but I'm not done with this slide yet. I went too fast. Okay. So you can launch a video. You can launch an Nearpod either as a live lesson or student paced. We're currently doing a live lesson because I want to control what you're seeing. Now, if you send it as a student paced document, that means the students get to listen to look at the Nearpod on their own. And then the students will, you give the students the code, they put the code on, and they get to write their names, just like you all experienced it. And of course, we know that the live lesson is synchronous and the student pace is asynchronous. It's synchronous because everybody is on the same page at the same time. But the asynchronous is students are working at their own pace. They can decide to do it at any time and any place they want. All right, So the video, so that we can learn more about, I'm going to play this video. And if you notice, I did say it's going to play on my device only. That is another way to classroom management when you're in class, so that you don't want all the students' devices to be playing all at the same time. So I did say for it to play on my device only. So I'm just going to play it right here so we all can watch it at the same time.
Introducing Nearpod, an award-winning student engagement platform that comes with thousands of ready-to-run interactive K-12 lessons. Nearpod is a platform that easily allows teachers to create, download, and teach interactive lessons across all student devices, including Chromebooks, iPads, iPhones, and Android devices. Teachers can easily upload their existing PowerPoints, PDFs, Google Slides, and Sways, and convert them into interactive Nearpod lessons by adding engaging activities like quizzes, polls, draw it, open-ended questions, fill-in-the-blanks, games, and 3D objects. With Nearpod VR, teachers can take their students on a virtual field trip anywhere in the world. Teachers launch a live lesson. Students enter a lesson code, and the lesson is synced to all student devices. Teachers can also launch student-paced lessons, which allow students to complete a lesson on their own time, wherever they are. Teachers get real-time feedback on student understanding and can access post-lesson reports to assess individual and class performance. Nearpod also has a library of thousands of ready-to-run, standards-aligned K-12 lessons across all subjects from a curated list of trusted publishers. All lessons are editable and customizable to meet the needs of individual teachers and students. Nearpod is the most comprehensive student engagement platform that your students will love.
Okay, so before we go on, someone did ask if you can customize the code for Google Classroom and Flipgrid. My quick answer is I really don't know, because I've never tried to do that. I just go with the code that I get. But that's something that you might want to explore if that is something that is super important to you. But I really don't know, because I haven't explored that. You know, whatever code that is generated, that's the code I use, and I just keep it moving. All right, so teachers can easily log in with email, Google, or Microsoft single sign-on credentials. If you want, right now you can open another website and go to Nearpod so that you can log in as a teacher. It is free. There is a free version of Nearpod, and of course, there is a paid version of Nearpod. I am currently using the free version because I'm using my personal account. My school account is the paid version from my school. But right now, what I'm currently using is the free version. Of course, so you go to Nearpod. You must have seen this when you try to log in. As a student, you join in with this code, or as a teacher, you decide to create an account or log in using Google Office, or just your regular email and password. So, like I said, you can go use Google or any other all the other option. Okay, so when you log into Google as a teacher, and if you have the opportunity, you can please decide to do that. Go to another, if you're using your computer, go to another tab and open Nearpod and get in as a teacher. You will see what looks like this, okay? And I'm going to segue out of this and go into my account. Like I said, this is my free account, my personal account. This is the current training we are on. And this is the previous training that I did the last time. But as you can tell that it says I'm a silver user right here, because this is the free version. Then you can always, even in your own account, you can always join a lesson. Now, there is a very rich Nearpod library. If you don't have time to create your own lesson, you can go right here and pull any information that you want. I'm going to warn those, some of them are paid, but there are a lot of free ones as well. And then, of course, after this training, if I want to go to my report and see what everyone has done, I can just come right back here and click on my report to see what everyone did after the class. All right, so another poll for you right here. In a new tab, log into Nearpod. Use the reference media on your right if you're not sure. If you want to go ahead and do that, let me know. Do you have any trouble? Yes, you answered, yes, you were able to successfully log in. If I get at least 2 responses, I'm going to have to move on because my time is running pretty quickly. Time really runs fast. This is your opportunity to try and log in as a teacher to experience Nearport yourself. Okay, awesome. Yes, I successfully logged in. Awesome. Thank you so much. Those of you that responded, I'm going to move on, but you can keep trying on your own to log in. Now you're going to be able to search Nearport's lesson library. Like I said, there's so many of them. On your device, you should be able to see what is a document. I cannot open it right here, but I had opened it before the training, so I can refer to it. You should be able to open a PDF document. If you are downloading the notes, you will also get this information in your notes when it goes to your email. All right, so this just gives you an idea of the thousands of lessons that are available. You know, there's a lot of gradual release of responsibility, the 5E model, explain, explore, elaborate thing, and then universal design for learning. It's really, the Nearport is really very big on that. As a matter of fact, before you can become a Nearport certified educator, you would have had to produce at least 2 lessons that, excuse me, that meets the standard. All right. So these are some of the benefits of using the library, and there's so many contents from K through 12, and there's so many subjects out there. Just wanted to point this out. If you haven't logged on to Nearport so that you can get this information, please do so. This is all the subjects that they have, and these are all their partners that have been that we can have information from. Just wanted to point this out there. So it's a huge document, and it gives you an idea of all the other various resources that are out there. Just wanted to point that out. So I'm going to segue back into my Nearport presentation. So you can search lessons on the lesson library. Yes, Amalara is raising their hands. Let me quickly go to the chat and see what I need to. Yes, Nearport is free. There are premium versions of it, absolutely. Please, can many classes go on simultaneously in a Google Classroom? Yes, there are. In my school Google Classroom, I promise, I think I have about 20 classes. And the reason is because I'm a co-teacher for my teachers. So I have access to all the Google Classroom practically on my campus. So yes, you can do that. Zoom is for video conferencing, while Nearport is a classroom management platform. Nearport is a presentation platform that can help in your classroom management. And no, it is not time bound, absolutely. Is it possible to have a copy of? Yes, I think this is currently recording, hopefully. Yes, it is. And I promise you guys, I'm doing better this time around. And I will definitely be getting a recording of this. But for you to get the resources for Nearport, I will suggest that you go to Nearport, log into this code, and send the notes to yourself so that you have all these resources for yourself as well. All right, so you can search thousands of, you can search it by subject, by grades, and by type right here when you go to Nearport to be able to get what you need and then edit it to suit your class. So you do have that option for your class. All right. So this is another collaboration board. Were you able to find and add any lessons? Were you able to do anything while we were talking? If you were, please answer. If you were not, that's okay. We'll just keep moving. Yes, awesome. That's great. Thank you. I can't see your name because I'm hiding teachers' names, people's names now for privacy. But thank you for responding. Thank you for those of you responding. I appreciate that. Oops, excuse me. Awesome. Thank you. All right, so I'm going to move on. All right, so now, of course, you're not ready to launch the Nearport lesson. Please mute yourself, guys. So we know that you can launch your lessons via email, social. All right, let me try and mute. Someone is talking. I keep muting all, but yet it gets bypassed. All right, so You can share it via email, social, all your social media handles, a link, an embedded Google Classroom lesson, or remind, or even in Microsoft Teams. Okay, so you can always go through this. You can oops, my bad, that went a little bit too fast. It can be a live lesson, which is in class. Really, live lesson is you can only do live lesson in class or through Zoom, like I'm currently doing. Student pace is probably what you want to do when you're putting this in a Google Classroom. Right now, during this stay at home, when you're doing during the stay at home period, you want to be using the student paced feature. And you can send this, and I'm going to show you guys in a second live how this works, okay? It does look like we're going to overstay our 1 hour, which if you're okay with that, that's fine, because it does work out for me too. Now, students can join a live or a student-paced learning. I think we've said that already. They can go to join.nearpod.com. You've already experienced that, and to see how that works. This is a video, it's a 2-minute video. If you're going to be patient with me, it just shows you a lesson actually on English, subjective, objective, and possessive nouns. So I'm going to click on this. It's about 2 minutes.
This video will show you how students can join a Nearpod lesson. Students can join a lesson from any device with an internet connection. You can join from a browser, or if you are using an iPhone or a tablet, you can download the Nearpod app. When a teacher launches a lesson, a 5-letter code will appear. Teachers can also share the lesson with their students by email, with a link, or through an LMS like Google Classroom. To join the lesson, students go to nearpod.com/student. There, they will see a box where they can enter the code provided by their teacher. After they join the lesson, students will be prompted to enter their name. We recommend that students use their first name and the first letter of their last name. Then, students simply click Join Session. In a live lesson, the teacher will now be able to advance the students to the next slide. Students can take notes during the lesson using the Nearpod Notes feature. If your teacher has this feature turned on, simply click in the upper right corner to begin your notes. These notes can be sent to you by email or saved to your Google or OneDrive. Once you decide how you will receive your notes, you can type them in the box on the right. Throughout the lesson, students will be asked to complete activities. In a live lesson, their teacher can see their responses in real time. Students can also use our immersive reader integration to have text read aloud to them, to translate text, and more. Simply click on the Immersive Reader logo to use this feature if your teacher has it turned on. Teachers can also assign lessons in student-paced mode. Students join in the same way, but now they are able to move through the lesson at their own pace.
Okie dokie. All right, someone did ask the difference between Nearpod and Google Classroom. Google Classroom is a learning management system. Yes, an LMS. It's an LMS. For an LMS, what an LMS does for you, and there's so many of them. We have Microsoft Teams, we have Canvas, we have Schoology, and we have Google Classroom. What it does for you is this is where you can push the resources that you want your students to use, either online or in class, or as a blended learning, or as even a flipped classroom model. So what LMS does for you is, an LMS is independent, it's on its own, but sometimes various education tech tools like Nearpod, Edpuzzle, Flipgrid are able to integrate into your LMS so that pushing that information to your students makes it even easier for you as a teacher. So that's what a Google Classroom is. Now, can you never need Nearpod and just use Google Classroom? Absolutely. Well, Nearpod has a different function. Nearpod is a presentation format. So say, for instance, what you normally like to use is a Microsoft PowerPoint to do your presentation. It's not interactive. You know, you don't get polls on it. You don't get students able to type on it and actually share your thoughts with you. You're not able to do that with your Microsoft PowerPoint. But with Nearpod, you can create your Microsoft PowerPoint and upload it into Nearpod, and then add all these interactive features that Nearpod has to offer, and then upload it in your Google Classroom, either for your student-paced feature, and then go from there. So they are two different platforms. They are not they're not owned by the same people. They have different purposes, and they can do without each other. I just wanted to point it out because I think someone asked that in the chat. All right, so you can always review your work student work in Nearpod reports. So after the class, after the learning, or when the due date is over for the student pace, you can always go to your report to see what your students are doing. Just go to the reports feature and toggle through it, and it can usually be downloaded as a PDF format, and you can see what you need to see and see how your students are doing, and see where you need to reteach, or where the students have where they've gained understanding. You don't need to reteach that, because you can tell based on student work that they're able to do what they can do. And just so you know, students can upload a video, audio on some of your slides, and I'm going to show you guys that in a second as well, in a few minutes. All right, so any questions? If you do have any questions, you can type it on here. Otherwise, you can continue using the chat to type in your questions as I try to wind down. Can someone continue with the password to go to Nearpod? Yes, you can still log in to this Nearpod presentation using the code right here. As long as this is live and I'm still on, it is definitely. Ime is raising their hand. Does it record? Nearpod does not automatically record, but you can record your Nearpod using your screen recording feature if you have that. But this Zoom right now is being recorded, and it will definitely be sent out, not like the last two trainings. Thank you, everyone, for being, yes, absolutely. I'm not done yet. Please don't leave. Do not leave me. I'm not done yet. Hang in there for me. How do I download all the resources like you said? Good question. If you have used your note features, at the end of this lesson, you will get an email from Nearpod. Of course, you can use any email you want. Whatever email you want this information to be shared with you, you put that email on there, and Nearpod will email you that information. And I think it comes as a PDF, and every resource that has been shared right here you will receive it. Can a teacher use Nearpod for presentation on Android phones? Absolutely. All they have to do is to download the app or go on their web browser. Please, can we have the videos of this training? Oops. Get access to. All right, so this is one of the one of the disadvantages of the free version of Nearpod. I can only have 40 students. All right, if I was using my my paid version, I guess I wouldn't have had this issue. But not to worry, guys. If you joined my if you joined my Google Classroom, there is this access to the excuse me. Go to classwork. You will see Nearpod online teacher training. I did add this information. Is right here, so you also have access to it. If you contact me, I can always share the link with you as well, so that you can have the video. I believe the video is on YouTube, and one of them is on Vimeo. But if you want that, absolutely, thank you. I successfully, awesome. How do I download? Does the free version have a limit time? For Nearpod, no. For Zoom, yes. Zoom has a limit time of 14 minutes, but right now Zoom is offering to schools only, so you must be using your school email to access their to go above the 40-minute limit. But Nearpod does not have a time limit, but apparently on the free version you can only have 4 participants at a time. All right, thank you all for the questions. You can keep asking your questions on the chat. I do have some additional resources for you where you can request free access. If you're a school proprietor or an administrator, you can request free access for your school. you do have, excuse me, please, you do have this information. That is where that will take you to. And you can request free access for your school. So you can get all the paid access features. That's what you're requesting for. If you don't want to do that, or you cannot do that, you can always use the free, what they have for the free access. So you also have access to this document, or this website actually, is nearpod.com/coronavirus, where you can learn more about how to use Nearpod. I will go back to my Nearpod. All right, so this is the document that I was just referring to right now. If you're on Nearpod, you can click on the link and have that link for yourself. All right, so we do have our online teacher training post survey form. Please complete that form. That's how we continue to improve what we're doing. I do also wanted to show you though, that not only the library is not the only place that you can create information on Nearpod. You can create your own lesson as well. I have some teachers who say, no, I just prefer my own thing. You can create a Nearpod lesson all straight from scratch for yourself without using the library, if that's what you prefer. When you click on add a slide, that's where you see all your options. You can add content, add web content, or add an activity. When you click on add content, you can add a slide, and some of the slides that you saw, you can put a Google slide on it, or you can put a PowerPoint slide on there. There is the Nearpod 3D, which is really very cool, or the PhET simulation for science teachers, field trip, especially for social studies teachers. Your BBC Video Worldwide, you have certain things here. Sway is a Microsoft product. You can create slideshow as well. You can input a video, you can input audio, you can put a PDF document that you want your students to have access to. I just wanted to show you what all this look like. And if you're, such very techie and you have a student Twitter live stream, you can also have that on there. Under your web content, you're just adding a web content, and then, and they have access to that. You can also add activity. Some of the activities you already did, time to climb, with open-ended questions. We didn't do that today. Matching pairs, we didn't do that today. A regular quiz. Remember, time to climb and quiz are the same thing. The difference is that time to climb is more gamey and more interesting. You can put a flip grid right here. So after creating your flip grid, you can add it right here. You can put a drawing, a feature that most math teachers like. So you can put a picture of a question, and the students can actually draw to show their work on it. There is the collaborate that we use, the collaboration board. There is the poll that we used, fill in the blanks that we used. We didn't use fill in the blanks, but this is available as well. And then a memory test type game that you can add. So these are all the interactive, it's called add activity, all interactive features that you're not able to use in a Microsoft PowerPoint or in a Google Slide or your Apple Keynote. I just wanted to point that out to you all because that was not clear in the video. So right now, please complete our online teacher survey form. We really will appreciate your feedback on that. All right, so please remember that WAAW Foundation is a not-for-profit organization, and we're always asking for support. Follow us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, LinkedIn, and donate to us if you can. We look for volunteers. We always appreciate monetary and in-kind donation. Let's see more, please, Dwayne. Please, I need the link to Nearpod. Okay. If you need the link, the lady that sent you an email will be sharing that link to you all later on, okay? And if you have access to me directly, you can always ask me as well. You can, I have quite a number of friends on this training, so, all right, thank you. All right, coming up, guys, WAAW Foundation is we're gonna start a digital literacy skills training for teachers. It's a 4-week program. The commitment fee is just $1,000. It's really small for what you're gonna be getting. It's a 4-week program where you're gonna be, we're gonna be doing a 2-hour Zoom once every Saturday. for 4 Saturdays. And after that Zoom, we're going to be collaborating using Google Classroom, using WhatsApp, and creating products that you can go back into that you can use and go back into the classroom. This training is happening. It's going to be from May 16th to June 6th. So stay tuned for that. This is an upcoming program. Just wanted to share that with you. Thank you very much. I really do appreciate you all taking your time to come out here today and spend this time with us. I hope this was a very, very productive 1 hour, 9 minutes for you. Don't forget to fill out the online teacher, the survey form to give us feedback and help us do better. Thank you all so much and have a wonderful day. If you have any questions, I'm right here. You can ask your questions on the chat and I will be responding as far as I can. I hope everybody's not yes. Please, where do you pay the 1,000 to? Hang on to that. When we launch that, you will get all that information. We haven't launched it yet. You're all the first people to know. Just wanted to, just let you all know that that is coming. Please fill out our post-survey form. If you're in this training, you will definitely be getting an email about the training if you're interested. No, Ifeoma, it's not $1,000. It's 1,000 Naira. All right. Please fill out the survey form for us. This training is over. You can jump off anytime, but I'm just gonna hang out for another 5 minutes for questions to be able to respond to any question you have. And at this point, thank you very much. You're definitely welcome. Send the invites to the digital training via email. Yes, we will. Absolutely. Thank you. Definitely. Thank you very much for coming. I appreciate that. I hope you all learned something. Administrators, please encourage your teachers. Give them resources that they need. We know budgets are tight, but please help our teachers out. I'm a strong advocate for our teachers. Please, please, please. If you're an administrator on this training, please provide them with a resource. At least start with the free resources, and then see how it works, and see how you can integrate, or if you're willing to spend a little more money to get it. Thank you all very much. I may not be able to respond to you all of you that are chatting me privately. I really do appreciate it. Thank you so very much. Udoka, you said your question was not answered. Please, what did you ask so that I can answer your question? My bad, I may have missed it. Udoka, can you please type your question for us again, or you can unmute yourself and ask that question, please? Martha is raising her hand. Martha, you want to, let me see. I'm going to, wait, I'm not going to stop sharing my screen yet. Martha, if you have any question, please, can NEPOD be used for preschoolers? That might depend on their level though. It might be hard, but yes, it can be actually. Even though it's geared towards K through 12, the resource library is geared towards K through 12, but you can create your own content for preschoolers. But I will really not, I think as an educator, my personal opinion, preschoolers need to be touching stuff. They learn by touching. You don't want them to be on that iPad or the computer, or no. Personal opinion as an educator. So my questions on rubric has not been answered as well. Oh my goodness, I apologize. Let me quickly go to that rubric session. We're on the create an assignment. Very, very, very quick disclosure. I have never used the rubric function because it's a new function. When I started using Google Classroom, they didn't have this. But I noticed that you can, if you already, like, I'm a math teacher, unless I have a project, I don't have rubric. But ELA teachers, most of them, social studies teachers, they always usually come up with rubrics. So when you create your own rubric, I think you can, I don't know why this is not, selected. Okay, So I'm just typing stuff. I just want to make sure that, I needed to type stuff for it to come up. So you can create your own rubric right here in Google Classroom. You can reuse an already created rubric, and you can import from Sheets. Rubric is yours. Whatever you create as your rubric is yours. Google Classroom does not control that. It's your own rubric, So if you decide that you want to create your own rubric, which I think I've tried to do before, this is what it looks like. And then you create what you need to create and add what you need to add. Like I said, I have not used this function before, so I cannot speak. I'm not an authority on it. The last time I used rubric, I was, the pandemic hadn't happened, and I definitely did not put it in Google Classroom. So it was just recently that I found out, oh, they now have rubric for assignments in Google Classroom. That's good. So I hope that helps. I probably didn't answer it as much as you would have liked for me to answer it, but it's an option that is there, and you can use it however you want. I just wanted to point that out. I hope that this cat, I don't want this. Okay. And close. All right. Like I said, if we're able to join the Google Classroom, the link is right here. And I think I'm going to be ending this meeting right now. Let me look at the last. All right, Angela. Angela, I'm going to take down your email address so that we can send you the link. Hopefully, if you completed a survey, a post-survey form, you will definitely be getting that info. All right. I am going to be ending this meeting today. Thank you all for coming, and we really do appreciate you being here. Thank you. Have a wonderful day, and God bless. So I'm going to, first of all, wait. I'm going to, first of all, stop this